All right. Got into it. Once again, only one little flub on the guitar part. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Weird Turn Pro. I'm Mo Strummel in Nashville, Tennessee.
This is Jason Winfield in Lamont, PA.
And who's that on the right there?
Not Tosh. I'm Patrick.
This is Patrick O'Connor. He's one of our guests today. Tosh is standing by 6 feet away. They are in the same location, but they are socially distancing in the location where they are. They'll take turns on the camera today. So Tosh Newman and Patrick O'Connor, our two guests today.
There you go. There's Tosh.
There he is. He's in the back there. We're out.
I squirt him with water.
That's like a cat, right? So, but we're out. I guess we're out at Tosh's farmhouse out there that he's building under construction. They're out on the porch, so that should be a great, nice, safe place to be as long as they stay away from each other. They're good friends, so they want to get closer, but they can't right now. Patrick is the 2018 Tennessee Music Awards Americana Artist of the Year. We're really happy to have him here. I met Patrick a few years back, and we've been bumping into each other off and on at different events and venues. I just met Tosh this week over the video, so I haven't met him in person yet, but I think you're going to really enjoy the songs that these guys are playing. As I said, we're very fortunate to have them with us, and we're very lucky. And I think the folks that know us and that come and watch the show, I think you're going to be really, really pleased with this week's show. I don't want to talk too long because we do have some music to get to. Jason, do you have any news from State College before we do that?
Lamont, we get snow, we get wind, we get warm weather, we get cold again. So it's Pennsylvania.
It's a weird situation up there. They're getting snow one day and 70-degree weather the next day. So there you go. A little bit of climate control. So, Patrick, what song are you going to do for us first?
It's a song that I actually wrote with Tosh called Different Kind of Rich.
Awesome. These guys are on.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. I know you guys are on the satellite out there on the farm, but it seems to be okay now. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about the song?
So,
somebody.
I'm good.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about the song?
Yeah, so it's a song that I wrote with Tosh called Different Kind of Rich. We've played it around town a couple times, sent it into Nashville Songwriters, and it got selected for their Play for Publishers luncheons. So we'll find out if it makes the final cut there or not. But so this was what number song was this that we wrote together, Tosh? Probably 5 or 6.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably the 6th song that we wrote together.
Excellent,
awesome.
Excellent. All right, well, let's hear it.
All right. It goes like this.
Right here.
We can see the scoreboard parked out here. Fill the cooler up for the price of a stadium beer. Listen on the radio, I wear black and you wear gold. Spend a little bit extra on patrol. There went the gas my truck was needing, but I wouldn't trade a gallon for this feeling. We ain't got Benjamins, got a dog named Benji. Don't need dividends, we're thriving on thrifty. We were looking for the kind of green that only grows out in between a little country house and a picket fence. Just like this, we're a different kind of rich. Gonna have to save for every vacation. We might not stay at the fanciest places. Honey, I have you, you have me. That's the only currency two people really need. This ain't a Riviera view. but this front porch feels like 5 stars with you. Ain't got Benjamins, got a dog named Benji. Don't need dividends, we're thriving on thrifty. We were looking for the kind of green that only grows out in between a little country house and a picket fence. Just like this, we're a different kind of rich. Yes, we are. We were looking for the kind of green that only grows out in between a little country house and a picket fence. Just like this, we're a different kind of RICH. Every trip we'll never take. Still gonna be RICH. Every cent we'll never make. Ooh, still gonna be RICH. I can see forever, baby. Just like this, from where I sit, we're a different kind of rich. People wish they had our kind of rich. We're a different kind of rich.
Excellent.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Jason.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
I spent the afternoon the other day just listening to your Spotify channel. So that's awesome. You got a great voice. I love how everything fits together. It's nice.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
So the first time we met was in Memphis.
It was, yeah.
And I contacted you, I think, through the Memphis Songwriters Association, possibly.
Yep.
I got your name. And I invited you to come play. I was in my mind that I was going to do this little mini tour because I was coming down here to look for a house in Nashville, and so I booked the High Tone over in Memphis through a booking agent, and you met me there, and we had the largest crowd, I believe, that may have ever been at the High Tone. No, that's not true.
Yeah,
there was nobody there, and but we had a little bit of fun. We did some video, and I just realized the other day that I never sent you the videos that I took that night, so I still owe you those. So I'm going to go back and find them, and I will send them to you. And then after you left, I sat down and talked to the two bartenders and apologized profusely that we didn't bring in a big crowd. And they said, "What are you talking about? It's a Wednesday." so I didn't feel so bad. But I was fortunate enough to meet you that night, and that's when I knew you were a songwriter, and you played some great songs for me that night. So, yeah. And that's a great song right there. So really happy. Is there anything else you want to tell us about the song or your writing process with Tosh?
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting since my day job is in plasma therapeutics, which is just basically plasma donations. And so I've been doing that for 13 years, and writing is pretty difficult right now because we're so busy. And one of the coolest things about what we're doing is, some of the treatments that we're developing are being given to the sickest patients. And so it's that particular part of my life is requiring a huge investment right now. So I look forward to getting back to writing. But yeah, when Tosh and I met, actually, fortunately, I was doing a radio show and played some songs on the air, and through the owner of the radio station, Tosh contacted and said, "Hey, I want to get in touch with this guy." And it turned out that he and my wife actually knew each other from high school, which is kind of cool. And so we started writing and just kind of clicked. And thankfully, Tosh has a lot more connections than I do in Nashville. And so we've been able to take advantage of a couple of those and meet a lot of people. So that's been cool. But yeah, I mean, as far as the specific writing process, it's nice when you get in the room with somebody who complements what you do. And so, my strength, I think, is ideas. I usually bring pretty strong ideas in, and then Tosh is really good at keeping the process going, because I'm definitely one to get stuck on a line and have to maybe just step away from it for a couple of days and come back. And so Tosh saves me, 72 hours in that writing process, and usually has a better idea than what I would come up with. So
that's a good person to have in your life.
So when you guys start,
for sure.
do you when you decide you're going to write a song together, you come to like I assume you both bring a certain number of ideas. Do you agree, or do you just kind of do it organically?
Yeah, I mean, we're texting each other all the time throughout the week, ideas, melodies that we hear, things like that. So when we get together in a room, it's usually we already kind of have an idea for our targets for that day. Sometimes, Tosh will bring in a song that's pretty much finished, and he just says, "Isn't enough? Let's, what do we need to do to it?" And or I'll bring in a rough idea, and we can wrap it up in one day. But it's usually two writes is what it takes to get them done.
Okay. Yeah, I've only done one co-write since I've been here, and it definitely took two writes, and I came with a couple ideas, he came with a couple ideas, and we went with one of mine, but the process was not something that I was used to. So it was good process. It worked out really well, but it is something I think that as writers you have to kind of dive into differently than you do when you write by yourself. So, it's, if I write a song by myself, I start with something but I may not go back to it for a day or two. Whereas when you're trying to do a co-write, you kind of have to get together and get it done. So it's a little bit different, but would you agree or disagree with that?
Well, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I think I started writing songs when I was in college and played in a band called Dry County. And I was not a very good songwriter then. I'd like to think I'm a little better now, but the songs I've written over the last decade were primarily just songs that I wrote by myself. And it's not until you really, I think there's a certain ego part of us that doesn't need other people to be able to write a great song, but I can just, first of all, it's all been about relationships, and that's been the best part. I've met the coolest people of my life through the co-writing process, and that's been really special, is the building relationships. But the collaboration part and people having different strengths, that's the thing that I think for people who don't co-write or who haven't had experience co-writing don't understand. It's it's not about painting a picture. It's more like painting a house. Somebody's going to do the inside wall, somebody's going to do the outside. Somebody's got to do the trim. It's not me. Somebody's good at the big strokes. Somebody's good at the small ones, and is the key.
That's a great analogy.
That is a great analogy.
I like that.
Exactly.
I'm a songwriter.
There you go. I'll tell you what, why don't you guys switch up, and I'm going to throw up our show other songwriters how to sign up slate right now while you guys do the switch out. And that way, if you turn your butt to the screen or anything, we won't be showing any of that nonsense off. All right? How about we do that?
You got it.
Go ahead, throw that up.
This is a tip-based show.
Well, we're not on network, so we can get away with a little bit more. So if you are a songwriter and you're watching and you want to be on the show with us, this is how easy it is. All you do is you send us an email to weird@treetunes.com. That's weird@treetunes.com. And you send us links to your music and your phone number, and then we'll go and give a listen. If we like what we hear, we're going to give you a call. We're going to set up a date with you. And then there's a little bit of paperwork that we got to do so that we can get ready for the show, but we'll get that out to you. And it's really easy. But if you're interested, please send us an email at weird@treetunes.com. Oh, and there's Tosh. You're back.
Hey.
I'm back.
So what are you going to play for us?
Well, I think I'll start out. We got in a room with a guy from Nashville. His name's Corey Lee Barker. He's with a company called MC1 Nashville. And this was one of those times where I feel like I pretty much had the song completely written, but it was competitive in the market. Listen, hey, it's a great idea, but you need to do something to make it a little more competitive. So Corey is an artist at that. I mean, he's had a ton of cuts. He does a lot of movie soundtracks, and he's on Lifetime movies and all kind of stuff. So we just took that to him, thought he could run with it, and man, he did. So it's just kind of a play. It's a play on words of, you hear people talk about following their dreams, and so was follow my strings, as in like the strings on a guitar. So that's kind of where we went with it.
Awesome.
Okay. So
Ready
here we
for
go.
it?
This is Tosh. Yep, this is Tosh with Follow My Strings.
All right. Too much work for way too long, but I don't have a bill at all that I can't pay. Something's gotta change. And too much dust on this guitar, too many songs inside my heart that I can't sing. No time for anything. I'd rather take a swing and miss. Sit around and wonder, what if I'd have followed my strings, hit that road, where it's gonna take me, no one but the good Lord knows. And I've made up my mind to see if these stars align. Oh, I'm tired of only living in my dreams. I'm gonna follow my strings, oh. Too many people in this town, they all say it won't work out when it all goes wrong. It's a long way home. They can all think what they want. When I'm packed up and tuned up, I'm gone. Gonna follow my strings, hit that road, where it's gonna take me, no one but the good Lord knows. And I've made up my mind to see if these stars align. Oh, I'm tired of only living in my dreams. I'm gonna follow my strings, oh. I'd rather take a swing and miss. Sit around and wonder, what if I'm gonna follow my strings, hit that road, where it's gonna take me, no one but the good Lord knows. And I've made up my mind to see if these stars align. Oh, I'm tired of only living in my dreams. I'm gonna follow my strings, oh. All right.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I like that song.
Thank
That's a really good song.
Thank you.
So, just so we know, what is MC1? What kind of a company is that?
They do all kinds of stuff. They do publishing. I think they've got a couple of artists on MC1. Do they not? Don't they have some artists? They represent artists. Mainly a publishing company. I think Corey, we usually have to book him out about a month in advance because his calendar is so full. So most of the songwriters that they have in their bucket are pretty booked up. So anytime Patrick and I want to get in the room with him, we call him. Like if we wanted to get in with him now, we call him now and we say, hey, what does your June look like, or what does your May look like? And so then we pick a day that's open, because usually it's either and it's morning and afternoon, so they're pretty busy. So MC1's a pretty busy company. They're based out of Goodlettsville, right there outside of Nashville.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason, you want to talk to him a little bit about his past life on the road?
His past life, yeah. So you traveled on the road. You're a drummer, right?
Yeah. So I started playing drums when I was in high school. I didn't have any lessons or anything. I just would always carry beats on stuff and get in a lot of trouble in class because I couldn't feel. And I was actually at a Dave Matthews concert, and a guy came and tapped me on the shoulder, and he was like, "Hey, I hear you're a drummer." And I'm like, "Who is this guy?" So my first band that I was ever in high school was called Taco and the Mofos. So yeah, I was a mofo. The lead singer's name was Taco. They're still going, even to this day. They're still at it. I think they've changed the name of the band to Bonsai, but they're still rolling.
Awesome.
But my freshman year of college, I was approached by a manager that said he had a band and they were looking for a drummer, and they were headed out to Texas and would I consider coming to play drums for him. And I was like, man, I just started college. Like, I'm on a soccer scholarship. I don't know what I can do. He said, I tell you what, if you will come out on the road with us and make this happen, I'll write you a check for your next semester of college.
Nice.
So I said, hey, yeah, let's put that in writing and we'll make it happen. And he did, and he came through. As soon as we got done with that tour and I was able to go back to school, he said, how much is it? And I gave him the invoice. He stood behind his word. So I very much appreciated that.
Wow.
Nice. That's awesome. And where did that take you from Texas?
My parents weren't too happy.
Well, I wasn't even going to go into the parental conversation.
My freshman year of college. So we actually had a number 9 record in Texas. It worked out really well. We played with like Wade Bowen, and we traveled right behind like Cross Canadian Ragweed. So wherever Ragweed was, we were just one step behind them. And we got to a number 9 record, and it got some attention in Nashville. So our lead singer went to Nashville and said, hey, we've been able to do this in Texas. Give me a shot. So Benny Brown with Broken Bow Records, he gave him a shot. So he had a sister label called Stony Creek. And so Benny signed Ash with Stony Creek, and the rest is history. I mean, now Ash he's doing artist development deals with people, and he's a songwriter. He's had several cuts. He had a cut with Matt Stell this year that I Prayed for You. So he's continuing to do big things in Nashville. And Patrick was talking about the connections that I have. That's just one of them. So we've been able to send stuff to him and get some really good feedback from him as well.
Nice.
That's really good. That's a tough part of the business there. So that's good.
It is.
Good.
And that's, when he talks about relationships, I mean, that really is the big thing. People talk about how hard it is to break into the songwriting side of things. But if you're not a jerk and you call people back and you show up to your songwriting sessions, it tends to work out for you pretty decently. You just have to really make good on your word and just do what you say you're going to do.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you really do have to be you have to try to be a decent human being when you're dealing with people, because that's it. When it's a tough place to be, you got to be nice. You can't be that person that nobody wants to talk to. So I think that's great advice, I think, for songwriters right there. And it's easy to get frustrated. So
very easy.
Yeah.
Right. And so you were in Nashville for a while, you were on the road for a while, and now you're back home.
Yeah. So I currently live in West Tennessee. And so I just drive back and forth to Nashville when I have a co-write that requires me to be there. So here lately, we've been able to do co-writes on Zoom. So we'll go and we'll stream live, and I've had up to 4 people on a screen doing a co-write. So that's worked out really well. But yeah, I'll just drive to Nashville. I'm only about 126 miles from right dead center of the city. So It takes me a little less than 2 hours to get there. So it's not bad at all.
Right. Awesome. Well, it sounds great. Sounds great. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right. Why don't we go ahead and switch out again, and we'll get Patrick back in there for another one, and then we'll see you in 3 or 4 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right. Once again, here's here's how you get to be on the show. All you have to do is send us an email at weird@treetunes.com. Make sure you have links to your music and a phone number, and then hopefully we'll get back to you, set up a date, send you some paperwork, and away we go. All right. Looks like Patrick's back there, so we're gonna see what's going on. There he is.
There he is.
Obviously, you got the beard memo, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is COVID-19 approved, but
Yeah.
Right.
You just have to get a whole head mask.
Well, I do want to let everybody know that if you're watching and you know me, or even if you don't, you can go ahead and in the comment section, wherever you're watching, let me know if I should keep this or not. I'm pretty sure by Christmas, I'll look like Santa Claus. So that might be a motivation because it's pretty gray.
You can't even see it.
I see you looking, but it's pretty gray. Yeah, that's part of the problem. So if you think I should keep it, let me know. If you think I should get rid of it, let me know. But in the meantime, what are you going to play for us next?
Probably going to play. This is the first song that I got a publishing deal on in Nashville. So yeah, it's fairly popular amongst my few fans. So yeah, I'll play. It's called "Buzz Me Up."
What's it called?
Buzz Me Up.
Buzz me up. Yeah, it's a good song.
Sounds good.
I like this.
Midnight, I'm neon city. Wingman pilot for a couple of my friends. I'm buying drinks and talking sweet to a cherry lipstick pretty. But she ain't how I hope that my night ends. That's why I'm standing outside your apartment tonight, waiting for you. Buzz me up, turn me on, like an old John Mayer song. Pushing buttons just to hear you say my name. There's an open bottle of barefoot red, barefoot beauty on a king-size bed. Pour a shot of you in my cup. Baby, buzz me up. Baby, buzz me up. You already washed your makeup off. That's fine. Wear anything you want, I don't mind. You got a drink that you won't share, but I'm drinking you, so I don't care. I don't need a glass to get me high. Buzz me up, turn me on, like an old John Mayer song. Pushing buttons just to hear you say my name. There's an open bottle of barefoot red, barefoot beauty on a king-size bed. Pour a shot of you in my cup. Baby, buzz me up. Baby, buzz me up. A couple of words stuck on your lips for all that's in between us. A couple little words, come on in, I never get enough of you. So buzz me up and turn me on, like an old John Mayer song. Pushing buttons just to hear you say my name. There's an open bottle of barefoot red, barefoot beauty on a king-size bed. Pour a shot of you in my cup. Pour a shot of you in my cup. Baby, buzz me up. Baby, buzz me up.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
All right. I got your name up there, so nobody's confused now. So
Yeah, this is how much of a non-real artist I am. I don't have Venmo or Cash App or anything like that. This is my live PayPal. I just do it because I love it,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's the funny thing. It's like out of all the things that, I mean, I don't know about you, but out of all the things that I missed during this dilemma that we're in, it's playing, right? It's playing in front of other people. And that's why that's why we started to do this, because we felt like there were probably other people that felt that way, like you, I'm sure, that, it's what you do, right? It's not the money. It's about getting out there and playing. I mean, it's about the money if you're making a living at it. It is about the money. But in the long run, artists and songwriters want people to hear their songs. That's why you write them. So we thought this would be a good chance to give people a chance to get out there. So I know that I met you also. I re-met you right when we came back into town, and you were working with. I don't know if you were working. You're part of Keith Moore's organization, right? Are you
I'm not part of it. No.
Okay.
So Keith Moore is partners with Jason Wyatt, and I'm not sure that they're exactly partners in Nashville Rising song specifically, but I know they partner up on a lot of stuff. And Jason has been, he's actually started this thing called Nashville Artist Development University with a couple of other people. But going back to the beginning of that, Jason and I started off whenever I had a deal with them, a 6-month deal for Nashville Artist Development, which is what it was called. And so that was a really cool process.
Was that when you were traveling about the state a bit?
Yeah, I was able to travel a little bit more then. And so yeah, that was at Nashville Rising Song, which is where we met.
Right. So, but you won that the one sequence, didn't you? Or
yeah, so it works individual weekly rounds, and then you have the semifinals and finals. So I made it to the semifinals 3 times, and I made it to the finals 1 time. So
okay, all right, and now he moved that to a new venue before this all happened, right? So he was at the Dogwood. Is that where he was?
Yeah, it's a fantastic venue.
It is a nice place. Yeah,
we've had a great time.
Yeah.
See, I'll say this too, Mo, and I don't know you, Jason, but the thing, I know you hopefully have like aspiring songwriters on the channel or checking this out. And, you go into a competition like that and you think that like, oh man, I got to win this thing. And the value of those competitions is not in winning the competition. It's in networking.
Yeah.
It's in meeting the judges, getting information. I mean, that's so much of, what I would have told myself when I first started trying to go to Nashville was stop worrying about, making a great performance or trying to win a particular, competition, and instead focus on the people, which, I mean, I did that to some degree, but I would worry a whole lot about the first part less,
Right.
I think that's important. I think that's a very important point to make to people. It's not, getting in a place where you can meet people, play your songs, and get feedback immediately like that is also important, because if you're in front of an audience, if you sit at home and you play all the time, that's fine. And your mom thinks you're great and your best friends think you're awesome. But getting out in front of people you don't know and playing and then seeing what they think or what's happening, it makes you a better songwriter in the long run.
Most definitely.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's cool to see how you mesh styles and people bring different things to the table.
Right.
So I think that if anybody thinks that they're going to set in the basement and write a song and get it cut by a major touring artist, because it's awesome, or delusional in the nicest way that you can say that, because I mean, it is almost impossible to get a song cut by a major artist if you're not in the room with that artist or with people who have direct relationships with them. When I was in college, the band that I was in was called Dry County, and it was comprised of three of us. It was a trio. It was me, Corey Emerson, and Ashley McBride. So anybody who knows country music knows who she is. And I haven't talked to her in a little while, but she and I have stayed in touch over the years. And I mean, what she's doing is awesome. And it took her 10 years of grinding every single day to get there. So the idea that you're gonna have this one song that people just can't stop talking about is just not very realistic. You're gonna have to write 100 songs to get one that someone will take a second listen to. So it's very, very difficult, and especially not being there full time. I mean, I am living under no delusions about what this is. I would love to get a song cut at some point. I mean, I think Tosh and I, we've made some connections with publishers and have gotten some publishing deals. But I think I've written about 70 songs now in the past year and a half, and that's a pretty good pace for someone who's not in Nashville. I mean, some of these guys are writing 3 to 5 songs a week.
I think I read one time that, or maybe it was, it might have been R.C. Bannon told me. He said, in Nashville, the average, the writers that are writing like on a daily basis and trying to make a living at it are doing somewhere around 250 songs a year. And LA has a different sort of philosophy about it. And the songwriters out there are writing about 40 a year. So you're right. It's definitely it's an everyday affair, and it has to be if you think you're gonna crack the nut. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's how hard do you think it is? It's harder. So
exactly.
Well, you took away one of my questions because I was going to ask you about Dry County here as we moved forward, but thank you for talking about it.
Yeah.
Why don't we switch out and put Tosh back in the hot seat and hear another song from Tosh? I think we're going to watch you guys change out this time just because that would be fun.
And they did it without showing any skin.
Yes.
That's right. Barely.
There's a delay on it. So my wife is in the producer's chair for the first time, so we're trying to get her to help with some of the overlays and the banners here. And now she's fighting me with the mouse as I'm using the touchpad, so that's interesting.
Marital bliss in action.
Yeah. So what do you got for us, Tosh? What's up next?
This one I'll play you is called In Her Purse. And this was one of the songs that I wrote. And you know how sometimes you hear writers talk about songs that just hit them and they were able to write them really quick. And some of them I heard Luke Combs say the Beautiful Crazy song took them about 8 hours to write. This one took me about 25 minutes. I was sitting in the living room and my wife was in the kitchen doing something. And I said, man, my lips are really chapped. And she was like, well, hey, look in my purse. I think I got some chapstick in there. I was like, cool. So I did. And there it was, sure enough. And then, I was thirsty. I was like, I'm really thirsty. She said, well, look in my purse. I think there's a bottle of water in there. And so I looked in her purse. And so the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm trying to come up with ideas for a songwriting session that I had coming up the next week because I didn't want to show up empty-handed. And so I sat there and I said, woman, you have everything I need in your purse. And when those words came out of my mouth, it just was like an explosion of ideas that came out after that. So that's where this song came from. And it was literally a 25-minute write, and I was done with it. And a friend of mine, Brandon Lay, he recorded the demo for me to kind of get this thing out there to let folks hear it radio ready. And so I would love for Brad Paisley to cut this song. So if anybody knows Tim Owens and can get this song to him, I'll even let him put his name on it if you want.
wants
My
No,
wife
good.
just suggested, since he's been jumping in on other people's Zooms as an invitation, we should send something to him to say, hey, can you stop by?
Yeah, stop by, listen to this song. I've already got the marketing ideas in my head for your merchandise. I mean, I've got this thing planned out. You just need to record it, and I'll take it.
All right, we'll see what we can do.
This one's called In Her Purse. When my lips get chapped, she's Sally on the spot. She's got a mini Mr. fan in case I get too hot. She keeps a bottle of water to quench my never-ending thirst. And she's got everything I need in her purse. She keeps a key to my truck in that treasure chest. 'Cause I lock myself out once a week at best. 4 different kinds of pills, just in case my head hurts. And she's got everything I need in her purse. And my world would fall apart if she left that thing at home. I wouldn't have my wallet, I couldn't find my cell phone. She got my whole life in there, yeah, that girl's my universe. And she's got everything I need in her purse. Well, there's a wallet-sized picture of our kids, and 2 house keys to the place we lay our heads. Plenty of security, maybe more than we deserve. But she's got everything I need in her purse. And my world would fall apart if she left that thing at home. I wouldn't have my wallet, I couldn't find my cell phone. She keeps my whole life in there, yeah, that girl's my universe. She's got everything I need in her purse. And I thank God for everything in her purse. All right.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. So you're sitting in a brand new house right now.
Yeah.
We all got invited out there for a picnic. I think that's what I heard earlier on. Maybe.
Yeah. As soon as this is over,
We can pick up the side of beef. It's for sale on the way in, right?
No, new or used.
Yeah, new or used.
Who are there other writers that you write with? Like just talk a little bit about how you get connected to other writers. Like, what is your process to get connected to them?
Well, ironically enough, through Patrick, whenever I heard him on the radio, and I called the radio station guy and I said, hey, this guy sounds pretty legit. Like these songs are really good. Do you think you could get us in touch with each other? And so he did. And then Patrick and I started writing together. And then Patrick said, man, I think you should come in on some of these co-writes that I'm doing and just see how it works. You know, it may all crash and burn, but you never know till you try it. And you never know until you actually physically get in a room with somebody how it's going to work out. And it sometimes it does crash and burn, but fortunately for us, it hasn't so far. I've got a piece of cedar down here I'm going to knock on. But Patrick introduced me to Corey. So I've written with Corey several times, and a guy named Stephen Cade, who's in Nashville. We've written some songs with him, and the way he's talking, one of the songs that we wrote with him, he's getting ready he wants to cut it and get that out on Spotify and make that happen. So, and it's just like I said before, it's really about the relationships. You know, Patrick and I have gained such a friendship from this, and you know, when we say we're going to be there to write, we're going to be there to write. And that really, I don't know. It sounds so simple, but it really means a lot to somebody when you do what you say you're going to do. And So making those connections, and then through Ash Bowers, with Wide Open Music Group out of Nashville, him and Steve Williams, I played drums for Ash quite a bit. And so through him, I've made some connections. Jonathan Singleton with 50 Egg Music. Jonathan is a good friend of mine. I graduated high school with his wife. So he's been able to kind of bring me in and listen to my stuff and give honest feedback. And I think that's one of the things you really need from people is honest feedback. Like you talked about, your mom and your grandma and your best friend are going to think you're the greatest thing since, sliced bread. But when you have somebody that will say, hey man, this really isn't good enough from the stuff that I've been hearing that's coming across my desk, you need to work on this a little more. I appreciate that. I've been told no a lot. In the acting world, I've done some acting stuff and I'm told no a ton. And you just have to develop that skin of, hey, this is constructive criticism. And as long as you can learn to take it and move forward and be better from that, I think, you'll do just fine.
That's pretty interesting. I mean, we both Jason and I both have worked in the theater for a long time. And one of the things I heard, I can't remember who said it. It was a famous actor, but I thought of the same thing you did about music as well, is that one of the things that you have to do really well to be a performer of any kind is you have to do rejection really well. Yeah. Because if you don't, you will never make it. You
90%
literally,
rejection.
You have to deal with it. So that's a very good point that you just made. And, it needs to be said. I mean, people need to hear that.
You just can't take things personal. It's not an attack on your character. It's not an attack on your ability. I know the first songs that I sent to Jonathan back several years ago, he didn't even respond. He had his wife call me, and he was like, "Hey, man, you've got the right idea. Keep trucking." And I did, and I kept trucking. And so the last couple of songs that I sent to Jonathan, he said, "Hey, I think you should come and sit down in our office and let's talk about this because these are really good." So you just got to take that criticism and run with it and just better yourself and don't take it personal. There's, the facts don't care about your feelings. It is what it is, and you just move on.
Yeah.
Right. That's a very good point. Let's do the musical chairs again. It's literally musical chairs. That was excellent, Mo.
Wow.
And we'll get Patrick back up here.
I'm here. I'm trying to find a guitar pick.
That's all right. While you're doing that, I'm going to update your little banner here because my producer, also known as my wife, just pointed out that I spelled something, that I left a word out. So there you go. Now
there you go.
There, that's good.
In a hurry.
Yeah. So what do you got on the docket for us next? What's the next song?
This is one. So it's another one that Tosh and I wrote, which I thought would be a good theme for the day. So I actually haven't been releasing songs. Everything that we've been cutting songs, but they're all just for pitching. Once you guys, I'm sure know this, but once you publish a song, you lose the first rights of refusal on it. And so anybody can cut it once you do that. And they just have to pay the licensing fees. And so not that we are like, not that it's an issue or anything that I would be happy to have someone cut it right now. It's just that's been the focus, has been having the songs there for demos. And so this one, though, I actually released a lyric video for last week on Facebook. And it's done pretty well, so I'm glad that I did. And I don't think that counts as publishing it, but hey, if someone wants to cut it at this point, well, so.
That's good, though. I mean, that's a good point for people to understand about how like all the licensing and the royalty stuff works. If somebody wants to be a songwriter, they really kind of do need to understand that a little bit. It's a
Hear these frogs back here?
And it's often difficult to navigate. Nashville Songwriter Association, obviously, that was brought up earlier. They can help you by explaining some of that and help you navigate that. And if you have a mentor, you should definitely make sure that you understand those rules and the way the game is played. So what's the song called again? It's called
Speakerphone.
Okay. And
Yeah.
this is a co-write, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this is one.
All right.
Tasha,
Here we go.
I did, yeah. You know, and this is my favorite kind of song is when you write about something that's true. You know, I'm just, making it up. And so it's called Speakerphone. It goes like this. Oh, yeah, she's a good girl. Grew up in a small church. K-Love on a radio. Cries every time Jack lets go. Never lies even when she could. Won't do it if you don't do good. Doesn't care about politics. Sweetest lips that I ever kissed. But don't you put her on speakerphone. In the time that you're not alone. There's no telling what she's gonna say. Filters off if she had a bad day. She's got a heart of gold, but that won't hold if she gets on a roll. The best woman that I've ever known. But don't you put her on speakerphone. Cooking supper with grandma. Photo albums with grandpa. The picture perfect lady. Even when she feels crazy. If you're at a red light stop with the windows low and your phone's hooked up to the radio, you better turn that Bluetooth off, but the whole town's gonna know. Don't put her on speakerphone. In the truck when you're not alone. No telling what she's gonna say. Filters off if she had a bad day. She's got a heart of gold, but that won't hold if she gets on a roll. Best woman that I've ever known. Don't you put her on speakerphone. Don't you put her on speakerphone. I never put her on speakerphone. She might be all alone. Feeling tipsy, talking frisky, asking baby when you coming home. So don't you put her on speakerphone. Anytime that you're not alone. There's no telling what she's gonna say. Filters off if she had a bad day. She's got a heart of gold, but that won't hold. If she gets on a roll, best woman that I've ever known. Don't you put her on speakerphone. Don't you put her on speakerphone. Don't you put her on speakerphone.
Gotta unmute. Excellent. Excellent.
That was very good. We're getting close to the hour here, so why don't we switch seats and we'll get Tosh in there for his last song, and then we'll find a way to get you both so we can hear you at least, and we'll wrap this sucker up after that. All right.
You play with me.
All right. We are back.
What you got, Tosh?
So this next one that I will play for you guys is one that Patrick and I co-wrote together. And the idea was brought into the session. And again, this was one that was pretty much written when we brought it in, but it just needed some extra something to it. So the phrase that I was going with was, I wish my beer was as cold as your heart.
Hey, I know her.
Yeah.
That's a country song for sure.
Yeah, no. So that was too much to say. So we just changed it to colder, and we really enjoy these one-word titles. So the song is called Colder. It still kind of has that same meaning and feel behind it as the long title does, but change it to Colder. This is how it goes. this bar stool and that barkeep are the only friends that I need. And that neon shining on me is the only light that I see. And that water dripping down this long neck bottle is the only thing looking like a tear falling. Yeah, I'm sleeping better than I ever did without your cold feet in my bed. The thermostat's on 65. Yeah, and I found that happy in my happy hour. I walked in here when you walked out. This used to be our favorite dive. I bet you thought that I'd be crying on your cold shoulder, but this beer is a little bit colder. This beer is a little bit colder. If I'd have sat where we used to, way back in that corner booth, I wouldn't know that Jenny Lee was from a small town in Tennessee, and there's a ring on the coaster underneath her drink, and mine's at the bottom of a creek. And I'm sleeping better than I ever did without your cold feet in my bed. The thermostat's on 65. Yeah, and I found that happy in my happy hour. I walked in here when you walked out. This used to be our favorite dive. I bet you thought that I'd be crying on your cold shoulder, but this beer is a little bit colder. This beer is a little bit colder. Now me and her gonna slow dance, maybe even gonna hold hands. And last call will be my only call tonight. And I'm sleeping better than I ever did without your cold feet in my bed. The thermostat's on 65. Yeah, and I found that happy in my happy hour. I walked in here when you walked out. This used to be our favorite dive. I bet you thought that I'd be crying on your cold shoulder. I bet you thought by now I'd cry on your cold shoulder. But this beer is a little bit colder. This beer is a little bit colder. This beer is a little bit colder. All right.
Nice.
That is definitely, I mean that's definitely a country song, and it is I mean genre wise that thing just slides right in there. That's beautiful. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
We're gonna Patrick can hear me, and I can hear him if he talks right now, right? There you go.
There he is.
Just stay 6 feet behind him, Patrick, and we'll see you. That was kind of cool.
So just bounce from one shoulder to the other.
I had a water balloon. I'd throw it right now. I just wanted to let you know that we've got a lot of people that are watching, and they're making comments and stuff, but they think this is a lot of fun, and they're really impressed by what you guys played for us here today, and they actually liked hearing about some of your work. So thank you very much for being here.
Most definitely.
I will tell you, Jason, that Roger, Tom, Steve Rothman, Heath Lane says I'm going gray. My cousin Rick is on here. I mean, there's a lot of people that we know from our past that have jumped in. That we even a lot of people that we haven't seen in a while, and some people I don't even know. So
even my mother and father made it this week. So,
but we'll get some numbers later, and we'll let you know. Plus, this is recorded, so people can watch it later. Everybody can watch it later in both places, I believe, but for sure YouTube. once again, I want to say thank you. I want to make sure that when this is all over, that we are sitting down somewhere down here. Jason, we'll put Jason on FaceTime or something, and we'll have some cold beers together, and hopefully we can do that when all this is over. How you guys feel about that?
We were trying to be as still as possible to make you think the screen froze. How did we do?
I know. I got that.
You did a good job.
Everybody,
it was the frogs in the background.
Yeah, that made it away, right?
It's like the Buddy and Jim show. I always say I should get some outdoor sounds like they have on their show on Sirius. And but you provided that for us today, so that was awesome. All right, guys, listen, thanks a lot. If you can stay on for just a couple minutes after we go down, we'll just wrap up with us. And but it was great having you on, and I really appreciate it
so much. It was awesome to hear what you have. I love how
you
tie your stories up wonderfully. So good job.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
See you, everybody. Remember, when the weird get going, when the going gets weird,
the weird turned pro.
There you go.